Brennan from Birdie Brennan Professional Organizers here today. Wanted to thank her for taking time out of her day to show us some tips for organization in the home. Thank you, Birdie.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful. So, from our standpoint, what are some of the main problems that you think people have when it just comes from clutter inside of their four walls?
Well, if you want to know the main problem, the biggest problem for everybody is paper.
Paperwork.
Paper.
So
just keeps coming in.
So when I go home today, I'll have junk mail in the mailbox. When my kids come home from school, they'll have papers from their teacher, papers from their school fundraisers. When I go to work, I'll get more paperwork. So what are some of those tools that you can give us to better understand how to manage that?
Okay, the very first thing is a mental shift.
Okay.
I go into clients' homes and they tell me, I just want to get the paperwork done. And once it's done, I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to shift from thinking you want to get it done. You just want to stay current.
All right.
You want to put some systems in place that you know what you're doing with the paper.
Okay.
But I tell clients it's like laundry. It's never, ever done.
That's
as soon
very
as
true.
you do that last piece, another one's going to come in.
Okay.
So you just want some systems in place.
All right. And what are some of those systems that you're talking about?
The very first thing is you want to deal with the current stuff. Like
Right.
you said, mail's coming in, kids are going to bring papers home. You want to have a plan.
Okay.
I tell people to make their very own retention plan. So you're not a huge corporation, but you need to know what you're going to do. Because if every time a piece of paper comes in, you got to think about it. What am I going to do? Do I need this? It takes too long. And what happens is you set it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And that's the start of your next pile.
Okay.
So you want to look at the current paper that comes in, and you want to figure out if you need to keep it, and if you need to keep it, where you need to keep it.
So obviously, what you're kind of recommending is you got to do something with it right away. If you let it set too long, you said it just becomes that next pile, that next thing that needs to be organized.
Right.
So we have a couple things lined up here. Are these the types of retentions programs that you use, or?
Well, this is to handle the current paper.
Okay.
Not the taxes that you have to keep for 7 years.
Okay.
But the current stuff. And there's tons of products, tons of, nicer looking ones, more functional looking ones. And you want to work with natural habits.
Okay.
You have more success if you work with what naturally happens when you come home.
Okay.
So if you come home and you always find that you're putting that pile, the mail on the dining room table, maybe you make a mail center that's in the dining room.
Okay.
It can be anywhere. But what you want to do is know what you're going to do with that paper. Get rid of the junk right away.
Right away.
So if you walk through the garage as you're coming in, dump it in the
goes
trash.
right there.
Yes.
Okay.
You need some container to hold paper. Divide it up. Because if you just have, I have to do something with this later, then when you have that 10 minutes and you think, oh, I'm going to do something with that pile, you spend that 10 minutes sorting it. So when you bring it in, you want to have categories. And your papers tell you those categories.
Okay.
Some of the normal ones I see in every house are bills.
Right.
And now there's bills to pay and bills to record.
Oh.
Because a lot of auto pay. You don't do the same thing.
Okay.
So those would be two separate areas. Kids' school papers that you want to just look at. Kids' papers that you get, but then you need to send them back to school. You need to sign off, or invitations, schedules. And they can be in a hanging file and just labels. They can be, this is a literature sorter, and you can divide out the categories. These are paper trays. These are really nice looking paper trays, but you can get cheap plastic paper trays to divide out the categories.
And it does the same function as well.
Same function.
Okay.
It depends on where you have it and if looks matter to you. What you want is the function.
Okay.
Just an accordion file can be your mail center or your paper center. And this is just another way to sort things out.
So just from our stand, as I sit back and look at all these things here, we're taking a big pile of things, right, and condensing it into a 4x6, type of arrangement.
Right.
Okay.
These are things that, the current things, the things that you have to deal with.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Birdie Brennan for her time helping us deal with the current paperwork problems that we have. The next episode that we have you back for, we'll deal with some of the more longer-term paper problems that we have.
Yay.
Yay is right. Thank you, Birdie.
You're welcome.